Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Learning Key podcast. I'm Anna.
And I'm David. It's really great to have you here again. No matter where you are right now, maybe you're walking, traveling, or just taking a quiet break, we're glad you chose to spend this time with us.
As always, no pressure at all. Just listen, relax, and let English come naturally to you.
Exactly. You don't need to understand everything perfectly. Just focus on the overall meaning and enjoy the process.
So today, we're talking about something that almost every English learner struggles with at some point: how to understand fast English speakers easily.
Yes, and let's be honest, this can feel really frustrating.
Definitely. You might feel like, I understand English when it's slow, but when people speak normally, I get lost.
Or sometimes it feels like people are speaking too fast or even swallowing words.
Yeah, like the words are not clear or they just disappear.
And then you start thinking, is my English not good enough?
But here's the truth. It's not about your intelligence, and it's not even about your basic English level most of the time.
Exactly. It's more about how your brain is trained to hear English.
And the good news is you can train it, step by step.
Right. So today, we're going to talk about this in a very real and practical way. Not just theory, but what actually happens when you listen and what you can do about it.
Let's start with a simple question. Why does fast English feel so difficult?
Most people think, oh, it's just too fast.
But actually, speed is only one part of the problem.
A bigger reason is that spoken English is very different from written English.
Exactly. The English you learn in textbooks is usually very clear, very complete, and very slow.
But real-life English is messy.
Yeah, it's more relaxed, more connected, and sometimes even a little lazy.
For example, if I say slowly, "What are you doing?" it's very clear.
But in real life, it often becomes, what you doing?
Or "I am going to call you" becomes "I'm going to call you."
And if you learned each word separately, this new version sounds completely different.
Exactly. So your brain hears it and says, "Wait, what was that?"
That's why the first mindset shift is very important.
Yes, fast English is not just fast, it's connected and reduced.
Once you understand this, you stop expecting perfect textbook English.
And that makes a big difference in how you listen.
Now let's talk about something very real that happens when you listen to fast English. You hear a sentence, you don't understand one word, and then what happens?
You get stuck on that one word.
Exactly. And while you're thinking about it, the speaker continues talking.
And then you miss the next sentence too.
And then you feel completely lost.
This happens to so many learners.
So here's a simple but powerful tip. Don't chase every word.
Yes, let it go.
Focus on the general idea instead. For example, if someone is telling a story, try to catch the topic, the emotion, or the situation.
Even if you miss some details, you can still understand the message.
This makes listening much less stressful.
Now, let's talk about another important habit: panicking.
Yes, this is a big one.
The moment you don't understand something, your brain goes, "Oh no."
And then your focus breaks.
Exactly. But staying calm is actually a skill you can practice.
When you don't understand something, just tell yourself, it's okay, keep listening.
This keeps your brain open and ready to catch the next part.
Over time, this alone can improve your listening a lot.
Now let's move to a practical technique: listening more than once.
This is simple but very powerful.
The first time you listen, you might understand 30% or 40%.
And that's completely normal.
The second time, your brain starts recognizing sounds.
You might think, oh, I heard that before.
And by the third time, things become much clearer.
So instead of feeling frustrated, use repetition as your advantage.
Let's make this more real. Imagine you're watching a short video.
The first time you feel like that was too fast.
The second time, you catch a few words.
The third time you understand the main idea.
And suddenly, it doesn't feel that fast anymore.
That's progress happening in real time.
Now, let's talk about something very useful, slowing down the audio.
Yes, this is such an underrated tool.
If something feels too fast, just slow it down a little.
Maybe to 0.75 speed.
This helps you hear each word more clearly.
And once you're comfortable, you can go back to normal speed.
It's like training wheels on a bicycle.
Exactly. You use them at first, and then you don't need them anymore.
Now, let's go deeper into connected speech because this is really important.
In real English, words don't stand alone. They connect.
For example, did you becomes didja.
Want to becomes wanna.
Let me becomes lemme.
And at first, these sound confusing.
But once you get used to them, they become very natural.
A good way to learn this is not just by listening, but also by repeating.
Which brings us to shadowing.
Yes, one of the best techniques.
Shadowing means you listen and repeat at the same time.
You try to copy the speaker's speed and rhythm.
At first, you might feel like you can't keep up.
That's completely okay. Just try your best.
Even if you repeat part of the sentence, it's still useful.
Because you are training your brain to match real speech.
Now, let's talk about subtitles, because many learners use them the wrong way.
Yes, if you always read subtitles, you're practicing reading, not listening.
So, here's a better way.
First, listen without subtitles.
Try to understand what you can,
Then watch again with subtitles.
and notice what you missed.
This combination is very effective.
Another important point is exposure.
The more you listen, the easier it gets.
At first, everything sounds fast.
After regular listening, your brain starts recognizing patterns automatically.
Try to listen every day, even for a short time.
It could be podcasts, videos, or conversations.
Now, let's talk about something interesting. Sometimes you know a word, but you don't recognize it when you hear it.
Yes, this happens a lot.
That's because you learned the word by reading, not by listening.
So when you learn new words, always listen to their pronunciation.
Repeat them out loud.
This helps you recognize them in fast speech later.
Let's also talk about thinking in English.
If you translate everything into your native language, it slows you down.
And fast English becomes even harder.
So try to understand directly in English.
Even simple thinking helps.
Now let's give a very simple daily practice you can follow.
Choose a short video, just 1 or 2 minutes.
Listen once without stopping.
Then listen again and focus more.
Then use subtitles.
And finally, repeat some sentences.
This takes maybe 10 to 15 minutes, but if you do it daily, you'll see real improvement.
Not instantly, but gradually and clearly.
Thank you so much for listening today.
We hope this episode made things clearer and easier for you.
Keep practicing, stay relaxed, and trust your progress.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care and keep learning.
Bye.
Bye.